Our names are Don and Ellen. On June 21st, 2007, we made it official and we started our story. Yep, we took the leap, got married, and started our family. Several years later, the American dream called and we answered. We traveled to and lived in several different states chasing our dreams. Finally, after realizing where we wanted to be, we ended up right back in our hometown where we started. That fast forwards us to June 2019, and that's where the good stuff starts. We decided to build our own home from the ground up. We poured our blood, sweat, and tears into our new home, and we absolutely love it. Happy as we were missing something. We wanted a place to spread our wings, a place to truly call home. We set out to find some ground of our own. Finally, in September of 2020, we found the property of our dreams. It's not quite 11 acres. It's 10.91 to be exact, and we love it. Now, until it gets a better name, we call it the 1091. Yeah, it's a government form, but okay. Right away, we realized we didn't have the means to maintain it or develop it. So we bought a tractor and a skid loader. We set to clearing the 1091, putting in a new road, burning what we could, and hauling off the rest. Along the way, we've done some pretty amazing things. We hauled our own rock from the quarry. We rented some massive equipment. We cut down hundreds of cedar trees and leveled off the ground for the upcoming projects. See, I've looked for a way to go from a subdivision to off the grid, how to go from dependent to independent, and I've discovered there's really nothing out there that can tell you how to do that. And that is what this channel is all about. See, this is our journey. We are home builders, and we plan to build ourselves from our home, our subdivision home, the home we love, to our off-the-grid house, the off-the-grid lifestyle. And we plan to take you with us. So join us. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and don't forget to comment. Now, in the future, we're going to build some really amazing things you've never seen. So we came up with a phrase to remember us by. So here it goes. From us to you, happy building. Well, welcome back. And if you're new to the channel, my name is Don, and welcome to the family who builds. Today, we are installing half-inch roof sheeting. We just installed the trusses with a crane, and now it's time to prepare this home for a roof. Let's go over some things. When I started in the construction industry, I was told one thing over and over again. Strength comes from triangles. Build triangles and you'll make a strong home. Now, this advice was passed down generation after generation from one carpenter to another. I wasn't the only one that was taught this. This simple advice about building triangles was also turned into a modern-day truss. See, many of the current building methods originated many, many years ago. For example, a variation of the trusses we are sheeting today were used as far back as the Romans. Just like current times, Romans used trusses for the construction of homes and bridges. And as time went on, and with more advances, wooden trusses became so strong that they replaced stone railroad bridges. See, trusses can also be made of wood or steel, sometimes a combination of both. Trusses also come in all shapes and sizes. I promise you, the truss design is everywhere. So, let's talk a little bit more about roof trusses. Roof trusses are amazingly important in the construction and longevity of a home. Roof trusses have several advantages over rafter framing. One advantage is that roof trusses have a defined and calculatable load rating that can be specified and designed into a roof system. Well, this means structural engineers can account for the loads a house might see, such as snow load, wind load, and uplift. Roof trusses also allow for the labor to build a home to be shared. For example, while the construction of the home is being completed on-site, the trusses are being built in a separate off-site location, typically in a controlled environment. Trusses are then delivered to the job site and installed per the truss manufacturer's instructions. Now, these instructions include things like truss layout and spacing, what kind and how many nails should be used to hold the trusses in place, the type, the quantity, and the length of nails or bolts used to hold multiple trusses together. Now, the manufacturer's instructions will also tell you if additional on-site permanent lateral bracing is required. If additional bracing is required, the instructions will have the location, the quantity, and the length of the additional bracing. Now, I know sometimes it can be hard to understand, but trusses have become such a critical part of home design and modern construction. Huge investments in truss design and truss manufacturing are constantly being made. For example, the original truss plates were applied with a large wooden-ended sledgehammer, and each of the wooden components being cut by hand. Later advancements led into saws built into cut stations with lasers shining outlines of the truss on the floor. Workers then used the lines on the floor to guide them in the assembly of the truss. These advancements made trusses more consistent and ultimately turned out a better quality home. Current advancements and methods include self-contained robotic stations that automatically cut and mark the pieces for assembly. The robotic saws also store and track scrap to minimize waste and save cost. Hydraulic assembly tables push pins up from below, specifically designed to hold the lumber precisely in place, while large robotic rollers roll over the truss and apply a precise amount of pressure to the truss plates. Things have really changed. Now, I have been installing roof trusses most of my career, but as I grew older and traveled to other areas, I realized that roof trusses are not available everywhere, and many carpenters have not installed roof trusses before. So everyone keep this in mind. Roof trusses take special training and care while installing. Roof trusses might be amazingly strong when they're done, but they are at their weakest while setting the truss in place. If the trusses are not properly braced during installation, it is very possible that someone will get hurt and/or roof trusses will be damaged. Our truss manufacturers here in Missouri provide a pamphlet that explains exactly how to brace a truss and protect you and the truss from harm. So keep that in mind. So let's take a look what I'm doing. Basically what's happening is I'm grabbing a sheet and taking it to the top of the roof. As you can see, there's these really small clips that I've installed. If you look for them, they're right at the bottom of the previous sheet. The small clip actually bridges the plywood edge and strengthens it. It almost joins the two sheets into one piece of sheeting. Not to mention, in my area, it's code. So I put a camera on my head, and now I'm in a point of view. This is going to allow you to see exactly what I'm doing and to see what I see. Now my goal here is to get a measurement and stay in front of the person that's cutting for me. So what I did here, I've got a little offset on the roof, and that offset needs to be sheeted. So I took that measurement and I called it out. Now I've made my way over to the next offset. There's some measurements to get here. As you can see here, this is going to be a 5/12 plumb cut, and I'm also calling out the length. So here's what that measurement sounds like. I need a 2x6 at 22 inches long to long with an 8/12 plumb cut on one end and a 5/12 plumb cut on the other. Now, I gave this measurement earlier, and now I can take this sheet and install it. I'm calling out several cuts ahead of what I need and what I'm working on. And that's how you get a roof done quickly. So this sheet's going to come up. I'm going to put this one in place. Now, sometimes these clips are a little tricky because they don't give you a lot of room to work with. So you set the bottom in, and then you hold it real close to the top, and as you can see, lean on it and then hit it with your hands. Now, I'm measuring the next piece and call that measurement down as soon as I can. Now, if you remember, I took the measurement off that small offset. I don't need it yet, but I'm going to here shortly. But if I've got it cut and I've got the time, I can install it between cuts or while I'm waiting on my next piece to come up. That's the whole idea and the point of building a home. Always be one step ahead. You're not given the piece you need now. You're given the piece that you need 2 steps from now. That gives the person that's cutting for you enough time to get the piece that you actually need. So, we're getting this final piece in here before we pull the ripper up. Now, as you can see, I'm marking out all of the trusses. Some of these trusses, I'm just not going to be able to move. They're just too close to this overlay truss. This particular home has a hip roof on the front of the house and gables on the sides. Now, if you have a hip and you're doing trusses, you end up with these overlays as opposed to ridges and rafters. That's one of the differences between trusses and rafter framing. It is slightly different, and that's for sure. So I've got the last piece here. I'm bringing it up to the top, and I'm going to drop it in place. This will be the last piece that I install before the rippers. So we've got it tacked on both ends, and there you go. We've completed the roof, and it looks great. This is going to get roofing material delivered in probably the next 45 minutes to an hour. We try to cut this as close as we can. We really like them to get a roof. We don't want them to get wet. We also like to work under the shade, so the faster it gets a roof, the faster we get some shade. Now, did you notice those cuts at the top of the roof? Yep, it's ridge vent, and that's going to let the heat out of the very top of the roof. Well, guys, I want to tell you, thanks for making it this far. And I've enjoyed making the video, and I'm glad you're here. So, please like, subscribe, and comment. And thanks for joining the family who builds. And from us to you, happy building.